Now we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of what Indians are all about.
I still say we Indian people are believers in the truth. This is the way of life that was given to your people. You're born an Indian, you're going to die an Indian. Indianness is a good life. You're facing an Indian this afternoon.
Good Saturday afternoon out there, everyone, and welcome to your number one source for Native American television news. It's Native News Today. I'm your host, Jason Salzman. Thank you for being with us today. We've got a great show lined up, a special show lined up as we bring you the 2014 State of the Nation address from Principal Chief George Tiger of the Muskogee Creek Nation, happening last Saturday in the Mound Auditorium. I know a lot of you folks out there are excited because not everybody can get there. Things happening in our own personal life. Hey, that's what we're here for. That's why Native News Today will bring you the speech today in 4 segments. And we're going to try a little new thing here. After each segment, I'm going to come on and sort of recap what the chief said, maybe point out one of the bigger points that he makes throughout that segment. So I think you're going to like that, and a chance to really break up some of the speech and give us a chance to have a conversation about it a little bit there. So without further ado, let's get right into it. This is Principal Chief George Tiger giving his State of the Nation address to the citizens of the Muskogee Nation.
The Muskogee Way is very sacred. The ways of our elders and even the ways that our children will follow are what is considered our way. To continue in those ways and to ensure that we will always stand in those ways is our will and desire as a great nation. This State of Nation represents the strides we have made to assure our continuation of the Muskogee Way. Momin hayoi, Chihoma huidet. Adot gidok fatsa, okit gijahanea. Diktang di ambalaksat, mado magerindas. I'm honored and humbled to stand before you to give you the State of the Nation address as the Principal Chief of this great nation. The purpose this morning is to report to you, our most precious resource, our tribal members of this great Muskogee Creek Nation, the progress and success accomplished over this past calendar year. I prefer to use progress and success because that's what this administration set out to do. And I believe with the support of this National Council, we are succeeding. This is a big change from the status quo way of doing business that seemed to hamper us in the past. As we have moved forward, we have continued to use the dominant themes of peoplehood and nationhood as guiding parameters in how we want to achieve success as a self-sufficient tribal sovereign, as well as balance those efforts with the needs of our citizens. What I mean by these themes is that we refer to peoplehood as us, the Muskogee people. It is important that we focus on revitalizing some of those things that have become dominant for us, such as our language, our history, and protecting what is rightfully ours so that we never lose our collective identity. That's why it was important to this administration and nation to file suit to address our sacred rights of our forefathers of hickory ground in our original homelands of Alabama, and to bring home a citizen in time of need that was incarcerated for demonstrating opposition to building over a very sacred burial ground. In addition, it was important that we work hard to retrieve our history and works of our artists so it would remain in the hands of its rightful owners, the Muskogee people, That is the Muskogee Way. We have a number of strategic planning sessions. We've had a number of strategic planning sessions, which has never been done before. That has included a cross-representation of the citizens and employees from all areas of Muskogee life and government. At the same time, it is equally important that we, as a tribal government, or as nationhood, try to do the very best that we can to improve services for our people. As a result, we created a blueprint for success that will extend in the future for many generations and become a standard way of doing business. We understand that it takes direct action to improve and extend and practice our tribal sovereignty to its fullest. I believe we have. We're educating our people. We're improving the health of our people. We're seeking economic development to put people to work. And I believe we are certainly using our tribal sovereignty to its fullest. It also establishes the proper content in which to move forward with new initiatives and services while still improving current services to our citizens. As hard as we try to improve those services, there are many of us that wish the wheels of our tribal government could move faster to make things happen overnight.
Okay, and as you see there, the Principal Chief starts off with the bang, talking about the Muskogee Way, really wanting to pull everybody in on this new slogan, this new way of thinking, and the Muskogee Creek people, peoplehood, nationhood, and I think he did exactly what he wanted to do in the first part of his speech here, as he brought in everybody into the Muskogee way of thinking.
Last year, revenues has increased from our nation's gaming facilities. Even during a time when the economy was down, our gaming never wavered. It continued to bring in the funding that we need to continue appropriating through the National Council for those much needed services that we provide. Groundbreaking was held for expansion of the River Spirit Casino Phase 2 that includes a hotel in Margaritaville entertainment area. An investment of $365 million on the banks of the Arkansas River. Investment. We invest in ourselves. We invest, not spend, because sometimes we hear that we spend money, too much money. I believe it's important that if we invest in our people, the returns are going to be more than ever greater than what we may have invested. And I truly believe that's what we're doing as an administration and as a national council. Other business interests. The nation's tobacco compact with the state is a contributing factor to increasing tax revenues so that the appropriations can be done by this national council. Muskogee Nation Business Enterprise continues to pursue interests in behalf of the nation. Interest on the nation's permanent fund continues to increase. Interest on this fund in the last fiscal year was $6.3 million. The nation's permanent fund is now valued at almost $270 million. That's your monies. I know that there are people saying we're broke. We're not broke. We've only started even to regain the fiscal abilities to continue our programs.
I think this segment was such a big part of the speech because not only does the Principal Chief line out the economic development and the things that we've done in the last year, but he hits some of the grumblings and rumblings in the talk you hear of all they do is spend money, that the Creek Nation, they're just buying all these things. I think he talks about how those are investments, and I think that was really something he wanted to key on, and it was an important part of the speech.
Our health is averaging $1.5 million a month in third-party collections, which totals almost $18 million a year. This administration continues to focus on the creation of jobs for our people. Many times when we talk about jobs, people think about the businesses and economic development. in the last year, through this tribal government, through programs that we have increased our jobs by more than 600 new positions in the 2 years that I've been your chief. And that doesn't include our businesses or our gaming. That is just the tribal government and programs. And 75% of our employees with our tribal government and programs are Muskogee Creek. And I'm challenging our gaming and our businesses to increase the employees of our tribal citizens to higher percentages. We went into business to offer the opportunity of jobs for our citizens. It's time that we start hiring them. Temporary Assistance for Needy Families has established 175 work experience sites in 25 cities. In addition to the social and family services such as TANF, the Second Chief's Office assists families and individuals with general assistance. In fiscal year 13, there were almost 19,000 tribal citizens assisted through our social service programs. That doesn't include the numbers out of Second Chief's Office. Women, Infant, Children, the WIC program, will be moving into a much-needed new building in this year. In business development, Business Development Center has advised 95 clients, assisted 24 individuals with loan packages, and 12 of them are now ready for their loan applications. The Community Development Financial Institution, or CDFI, a new program we have at Muskogee Creek Nation, has procured $625,000 in grant funds, and $250,000 has been appropriated by the National Council. National Council approved through legislation to create the One Fire Holding Company. This structure allows the Muskogee Nation to aggressively pursue economic development and to keep the business operations separate from tribal government. Businesses throughout the country want to partner with the Muskogee Creek Nation, and early indications are exciting. The nation is planning a business jobs summit, one of the largest and first of its kind in the history of this Muskogee Creek Nation. It will give the opportunity to promote its greatest resource, our Muskogee people. Our Taro program has certified 107 vendors, with almost half of them being Creek-owned. Taro has generated more than $3.4 million in contracts and procurement in 9 months of operation, and with 18 being Creek companies. Tribal citizens have been provided jobs through Taro certified companies. In our federal roads program, and our friends from the county commissioners that are here, they love the fact that we can collaborate and provide good roads and bridges that are safe to travel on for all citizens. The roads program has completed in less than 2 years 400 miles, and prior to this administration, we had only completed 600 miles in the last 7 years. We've completed almost double in the 2 years that this administration has been in. Because of the hard work and the aggressive approach that our roads program has, they will be receiving an award of excellence for a project in Okfuskee County that will be awarded on February 11th. The number of projects built with Indian Reservation roads has doubled from 2012 to 2013, from 10 to 20, and the number of projects using interest funds has doubled from 8 to 16. Our federal dollars has increased by over $1.4 million as a result of this. And when you increase your federal dollars, it means an increase in interest earnings as well. In the last 2 years, the nation has spent $11.7 million on roads and bridge projects. In community development, our communities continue to be an equally important part of this administration. In 2013, the National Council appropriated more than $4.5 million to churches, ceremonial grounds, and chartered communities. And I'm pleased to say that we had just purchased last year the very first building in Oklahoma City, so now we have a presence in Oklahoma City just down the road from the Capitol building. We may march on the Capitol someday. Community Research and Development will be hosting listening sessions, which are very important. We want to hear what our citizens have to say. We want my cabinet to hear what they have to say. And we want to be able to hear what they have to say so that we can improve the services that we provide. In addition to listening sessions, they will also be providing, through our Community Research and Development, technical assistance in accounting and bookkeeping training and proposal writing. Currently, there are 98 tribal members employed with communities throughout the Muskogee Creek Nation. A resource directory is now available to all of our citizens. In almost a quarter of a century, we've not had a publication like this. If you get an opportunity, and I saw some out front, please take one home with you. It tells you of all the services that we provide, gives you contact information so that we can respond in a more quicker manner, if you will, to your needs. In housing, there were 47 families provided homes through the acquisition and new construction program in this last year. In the last 2 years, that equals 82 new homes. That more than doubles the amount in 3 years combined prior, in 2009 to 2011. We're aggressively seeking ways to improve our housing, in particular, innovative ideas that will allow for us to streamline all facets of the program, from the application process to getting out of the stereotypical housing authority. Also, in housing, the very first structural insulated panel, or SIP, home was constructed here in Okmulgee. In housing, they're depending on strategic planning in-house for more workshops and in-service training for homeowners. In education, I always say with pride when I travel across this great country that as Muskogee Creek people, as elected officials of this great nation, we take education seriously. And it is a priority. When we came in, I felt the need to have a privately funded foundation to enhance what we're doing with our programs. And in the short time that we've had the Higher Education Scholarship Foundation, we've raised almost $80,000 through this recently established foundation, privately funded. National Council appropriated funding for a literacy program that's been long overdue. We expect to extend into all schools that have JOM to offer this literacy program. We also, through the efforts of the National Council, are providing new funding for doctorate level students. We were real pleased when we came in and we started making moves in our health division to hear from so many citizens that had received educational assistance through this tribe. And when they saw the direction the health was taking, I started hearing from some great health professionals that worked at the Mayo Clinic and major medical centers throughout this country wanting to come home. We stress education, and I believe it is time that we hire those people that we educated and they're ready to come home, and they are coming home. We've increased in individual funds for college students. One of the things that we did was that we were always having to hear from our citizens about the lateness of the payments for tuition. We're working on that now to where we're going to do it possibly through wire transfer programs or a debit card. So that when those students are going to school and they arrive on campus, they'll be taken care of. I know many of our National Council is glad to hear that, because you were hearing from those moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas. So that's what we're looking at, a paperless system for distribution of those scholarships. In 2013, there were 701 awards processed for higher education. The JOM program currently serves 16,131 students. In the upcoming Challenge Bowl, which is so popular among our students, there will be close to 700 students participating. Through the advancement of this event, we now have mastered and condensed study curriculum now online. A major revitalization of the language program is currently underway. Our elders used to always say, if you lose your language, you lose your identity. We're getting information through surveys for fluency indicators. We want to know, I'm not very fluent in English. We want to know who our fluent speakers are of our language. And we want to offer classes to our communities.
I think this is a really important part of his speech too, because he really lays out what's going on internally at the Tribes of Our programs, the success of Taro, tribal roads, housing, higher education, and really touches on some of the success stories. And that's what people want to hear, what's going on the inside. And I think he really covered that from front to back with this segment of the speech.
Our reintegration program at the Muskogee Creek Nation is one of the best in the country. The College of the Muskogee Nation served over 500 students, taught over 135 courses, and just recently broke ground on a new 20,000 square foot student auxiliary service center, and is expected to receive full accreditation considerations in March of this year. In the Interior Affairs, there were a number of parcels of land that we had backlog as a nation in putting into trusts. Through the efforts of the Watts Partners, our lobbyists in Washington, D.C., and Secretary Fife and the administration, we believe we have been able to get that off a high center. In fact, we took a blueprint that we felt like could benefit all tribes having the same issue. Lo and behold, Secretary Washburn studied our format. And now in Federal Register, we're reading that the land in the trust will be expedited because of our efforts in providing means for them to consider things in our lands in the trust throughout Indian country. And I want to thank the Watts Partners, to JC and Steve, for your guidance on this, and thank you very much. That's not all work here at Creek Nation. We enjoy having fun. In 2013, our festival broke another record of attendance of 40,000 plus. In 2013, the Muskogee Creek Nation Gala was once again a success, with proceeds going to the annual festival and Foundation for Higher Education. And we expect a record crowd again this year. In closing, much of the success has been in contexts such as transparency, going paperless, savings and funding of benefits for our employees, reevaluations of processes and human resources. Mr. Speaker, the future of our nation is bright and unlimited. The nation will continue to seek economic development and improve services and programs. Economic progress should not be delayed, because when progress is delayed, history is delayed. In closing, the Muskogee Way has never failed us. We gain strength from those before us who set a foundation for future generations. Now, those of us who lead this nation must continue the journey for our following generations. Our challenges lie before us. And just as it did for our forefathers, adversity strengthens us. But more importantly, unity solidifies us and the will of our citizens that we serve. I believe we've been successful in the last 2 years together in working and striving for perfection. None of us are perfect, but we can strive for perfection. But I truly believe our success in working together is guided by our faith and our spiritual life and looking to the Creator. And as was mentioned in prayer earlier, through the Creator, all things are possible. Momenoki kichkadat. Manadigersen okit gijas. Haratektan gyam balaksa. Mahen was it? Madoma gerunda. May God bless America. May God bless this great state of Oklahoma. And may a sovereign God continue to bless this sovereign Muskogee Creek Nation. Thank you very much.
And as he reaches the close of his speech, I think the biggest thing there is talking about the model that Tribal Interior Affairs started with land into trust cases all across the country. So Chief covered just a little bit of everything in the state of the nation. I want to thank you all for joining us to go over it, and really hope that you enjoyed that and hearing about the Muskogee Creek Nation, all the great things. Hey, if you can't catch us right here on the CW19 every week, we love it when you catch us on the TV. You can catch us online. Go to our YouTube channel, go to our Facebook, our Twitter pages, see what Native News Today is doing throughout the week. Also, go to the homepage. You can be directed to some of our videos on that. So have a great week out there, everyone. Take care.